Watched a ripper movie last night. Sick. What was it? Hazza, Potto, and the Chamber of F***ing Secrets. And what's a Chamber of Secrets? I think it's like a metaphor for a sweaty asshole or something like that. Gross. What makes you think that? I don't want to spoil the end because that's the best part, but it turns out someone's jammed a big sweaty snake up there. Are you sure you downloaded the right version? So the movie starts with Hazza asking Dursley if he can let his owl out. Jesus Christ. Nah, mate, not his bloody owl, his pet owl. That makes more sense. So Hazza's being like this emo sad sack because his friends haven't written to him in months, and Dursley, hang on, who is he again? Dursley's the one who looks like every single artery in his body is clogged with fat. Gotcha. He's having this big meeting with one of his bosses, and he really wants to gobble this guy's philosopher's stones, so he's asked Hazza to stay upstairs so that he doesn't embarrass him. And what does this Dursley do for work? Look, it's not really clear, but he's dressed everyone up like 1950s gangsters for some reason, so I think it's pretty safe to assume that he sells children on the dark web. Jesus Christ. So Hazza stomps upstairs, and there's this little bloody gremlin thing stomping around on his bed called Dobby. What is a Dobby? He says he's a house elf, but I think they're playing it fast and loose with IP infringement, because this guy kind of looks like Yoda and Jar Jar Binks' aborted baby. Anyways, Dobby flipped like a purple Hyundai or something before he came, because he's banging his head on drawers, dancing around, and he's raving about some sort of plot to kill Harry Potter. Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry! Holy crap, what does Hazza do? He tells Dobby to chill the fuck out, so he gives him a Powerade and a Valium to get him to calm down. But Dobby, he thinks this is real and not just some sort of drug trip. He says he's a slave and that he escaped an iPhone factory just to get out here and tell him this. Poor little guy. Yeah, well, don't feel too sorry for him, mate, because it turns out he's stealing all of Hazza's mates' letters and he's wiping his own ass with them. Why would he do that? He reckons that if Hazza didn't think he had any friends, he wouldn't go back to bloody Hogwarts, right? He also tells Hazza that he sliced his little brown balloon knot open, wiping it on all those letters. And that's why his voice is so high-pitched? Exactly. And Dobby legs it downstairs, right? And he says to Hazza he's going to levitate the cake using some sort of elf voodoo magic, and he's going to drop it on the boss's wife's tits if Hazza doesn't promise that he won't go back to Hogwarts. Shit, what does he do? He tells him to jog on and sit on a fat one. Nice. So Dobby drops the cake on this lady, and I'm pretty sure it kills her. It kills her? Yeah, maybe. I went to take a shit, so I'm not sure. Anyways, the next minute, Dursley's putting bars on Hazza's window, and he says that he's never going to leave his room ever again. Wait, what? I thought he hated Harry. Yeah, he does. No one in the family wants him there. So they lock him inside the house rather than let him leave and go to school for an entire school year? Isn't that counterproductive? Yeah, look, it's a shit plan. Anyways, Hazza thinks it's game over, right? And then Ronno appears at his window in a bloody flying car. He what? Yeah, look, no idea what that's about. Anyways, they bust Hazza out of this second story window like it's Alcatraz or something, and Dursley loses his shit and he tries to stop him, and he falls out of the second story window. And does he die? Nah, there's like this really conveniently placed bush or something, and there's no way he would have survived that fall because the dude weighs more than like 3 elephants. Maybe it was magic. Yeah, probably. That's pretty much the answer for any bullshit that happens in these films. Anyway, Ron goes, "Happy birthday, Harry, you little c***." And then they land the car at the Burrow and try to sneak in. The Burrow? So Ron's family live underground like some sort of human wombat hybrids? Nah, mate, it's like some rundown old farm. Well, then why is it called the Burrow? I feel like J.K. Rowling is calling poor people rodents. Yeah, look, I mean, it's not the worst thing she said, is it? So they're sneaking in, right? And Molly Weasley catches them, doesn't she? And she's like, "Ronald Weasley, where have you been, you ginger twat?" Isn't she a ginger too? Look, she's a total hypocrite, really. And then Ron goes, "But Mum, they were like starving him." And she goes, "Well, then you should have let him die, you little bastard." That is cold as ice. Yeah, she's brutal. I think she used to execute people for the state or something before she became a housewife. Anyways, they're all having breakfast, and then Ginny comes downstairs, right? And she pisses her pants and legs it back upstairs. Why does she do that? Apparently she like froths Hazza, and she's got this massive crush on him. So now there's like liters of piss on the floor, and Ginny's been up all night eating asparagus and pickled onions, so the floor just totally reeks. Gross. So everyone's vomiting, and then Mr. Weasley comes home, and he's stoked to see Hazza, right? Wait, it's 9 in the morning. This guy's only just getting home? What the hell does he do for work? Well, that's just it, right? Apparently he works for the Ministry of Magic. Nah, mate, the Ministry of Sound. He's a hardcore EDM DJ. He stays up all night spinning decks and bloody snorting lines. Really? Yeah, I think he might even be the bloke that gives Dobby all of his gear. That makes sense. Anyways, Molly is still fuming about Ronno and bloody the twins stealing the car to try and rescue Hazza, right? And she thinks that Arthur's going to be spewing too. And he's a bit grumpy because he's coming down, and Ginny ate all all the bananas so he doesn't have any serotonin left. But he's actually super chill, and he just wants to know how fast they managed to fang it in the flying car. Anyways, the Weasley's owl Errol brings all these letters to the window, but he smashes into the window because he's had one too many puffs on the billy. And these letters apparently have like this massive list of books that they all have to buy for this year at Hogwarts. And Arthur and Molly are a bit worried because they don't have much money, and the Ministry apparently only pays Arthur in free CDs and bus passes. That's bullshit. Who even has a CD player anymore? Yeah, exactly. Anyways, Molly says that they have to go to Diagon Alley in order to get all of these books, right? And Ron's like, but Harry hasn't travelled by flu powder before, is he? And Harry goes, what's flu powder, you bloody wankers? So Molly says Ronno has to show Hazza how to do it, otherwise she'll break his legs. She sounds like a very angry woman. Yeah, I think she's going through menopause or something like that. Anyway, she says, don't be scared, you little wanker. And then she pushes him into the fire and says, just make sure you say the name Diagon Alley really clearly. And then what happens? Hazza only bloody says diagonally, doesn't he? The bloody pelican. Does he die? Nah, mate, he just ends up somewhere else for some reason. Where does he end up then? Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? He's all dusty and his glasses are smashed up. It looks like he's in some sort of weird sex dungeon. And then this zombie hand tries to spank him off. Oh my God. Yeah, don't worry though, mate. He gets away. Whew. Yeah, but then there are these super sus people in the street who start swarming him, right? Uh-oh. What makes them sus? I'm not really sure. They just kind of look poor, but there's this super sus music underneath them that makes them look really evil. I'm starting to feel like this film just hates poor people. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, just when it looks like it's over for Hazza, Hagrid shows up, doesn't he? And he's like, oi, jog on, you little bastards. And then he picks up one of the poor people and just snaps him over his knee like he's in WWE or something. That seems excessive. Then Hagrid takes Hazza to a bookstore, right? And you won't guess who's bloody there. Hermione. Yeah, that's right. Anyways, she's like, Harry, you're going to die a virgin if you go on looking like that. And then she uses this spell that like totally fixes his glasses. That's nice of her. Yeah, it is. So anyways, they go into the bookshop, right? And there's this super posh wanker called Lockhart who's signing all these books. Apparently he's supposed to be super famous or something, but they've never really mentioned him up into this point in the movie. Yeah, that does seem weird. So apparently he's like super attractive or something because every woman in the store is leaking from the gash over him. And then he sees Hazza and he gets all excited and he wants to take a selfie for Instagram. And Hazza's like, oh, I'm only on Snapchat, sorry. And then he gets a little bit pissed off by that, but he gives Hazza a bunch of free books, right? Seriously, what is with this kid? He's loaded and everybody just gives him free shit. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Does he at least give the books to the Weasleys who can't afford them? No, he doesn't give him anything. He's a total c***. Anyways, Malfoy's been standing up the top of the store, right, waiting for his line in the script to speak, and he comes up to Hazza and he's like, you think you're great because you're famous. Well, I've got news for you. I'm rich and both of my testicles have descended, so I'm better than you. And then it looks like Hazza is about to kick him in one of those testicles when Malfoy's dad shows up, right? Uh-oh. Yeah, you're damn right, uh-oh. He gives everyone a spraying, doesn't he? He says Hazza's scar looks like that graffiti S that people used to draw on school tables, and then he makes fun of Hermione for having muggle parents. Ah, right, so the Malfoys are like old school racists. Yeah, they've even got the blonde hair and everything. Anyways, he starts abusing all the Weasleys, saying they look super povo and all their books look like they're printed on used Chinese toilet paper. But then there's this super close-up, right, of him putting a book into Ginny's bucket. Ah, that's going to be important to the plot, isn't it? Yeah, but they're kind of hoping you forget how obvious it was by the end of the movie. I already have. So next up, Arthur and Molly take the kids to the train station so that they can go to Hogwarts. Why don't they take them themselves? They have a flying car. It's unclear. But anyways, everyone goes through the secret door between platforms 9 and 10, and Hazza and Ron are last, right? They try to go through, but then they smash into the wall and break every bone in their face. Ouch. Yeah, and then that train conductor from the first film, he doesn't ask if they're okay or anything. He just gives them total grief for some reason.
What do you think you're doing?
Sorry.
That guy's a massive cunt, right? Anyways, Ron says, I know, we'll take the bloody flying car, won't we? Wouldn't that draw unwanted attention from muggles? You're damn right it would. So this taxi driver sees him, and he thinks he's eaten like a massive hash brownie or something, and he totally greens out in the car. Why didn't they just use flu powder? Or maybe they could get one of the adults to apparate them to Hogsmeade. Or a port key. Yeah, mate, the movie makes no sense. You don't need to tell me that. Anyways, they use the car to follow the train for some reason, and then when they can't find it, they fly right down onto the tracks, and they almost get hit by the very train that they're looking for. I mean, I feel like they could have easily seen it from above or heard it coming from a mile away, but whatever. Yeah, look, I think it was a producer's note, to be honest with you, so the producer was just like, there's no action here, so just jam some in, even if it doesn't make sense or defies common logic. That makes sense. Anyways, Hazza almost falls out of the flying car, and Ron, he can't pull him back up because his hand is too sweaty.
Your hand
hands all sweaty.
Why are his hands so sweaty? Because he cranks one out when he's nervous, doesn't he? I do that too. Yeah, me too. So anyways, they're finally at Hogwarts and the car stops bloody working, doesn't it? That seems a bit convenient. It breaks down right as they get to Hogwarts. Yeah, so they smash into this tree and Ron snaps his bloody wand in half. Ouch. I guess that's what he gets for cranking one out in the car right next to Harry. Nah, mate, not his wand, his bloody wand. Ah, right, that makes much more sense. Anyways, this tree has like massive roid rage, right? Because apparently it's been juicing for so long that it doesn't have any penis or balls left. Oh my god. Yeah, so it takes out all of its anger on Hazza, Ronno and their bloody car, and it just starts swinging its fists everywhere like it's on fentanyl. Jesus Christ, do they survive? Ron and Hazza are fine, but the car gets pissed off at them for getting it beat up, so it drives away in a massive stink. Wait, the car is alive? Yeah, it's alive now apparently. Anyway, they sneak in super late, right? And Hazza, he's starting to put the pieces together, right? He's like, the platform, the roid rage tree, the car. Someone doesn't want him to come to Hogwarts this year. I mean, he has a point, right? Yeah, he does, but Dobby did tell him that exact same thing at the start of the movie, so it's really not that clever, is it? Yeah, so he's passing off Dobby's ideas like his own. I hate when people do that. So anyways, that old geezer Filch finds. Is that the guy that likes to bum his cat from the first film? Yeah, that's him. And he's like, "Oh, you are in trouble now, aren't you, you little wankers?" Then he takes him to Snape, and Snape goes, "Mr. Potter, you were seen by no less than 40,000 muggles." Oh shit. Is that bad? Yeah, because wizards aren't allowed to use magic in front of muggles, are they? They aren't? Why not? Well, because otherwise the muggles would just keep asking the wizards to fix things, wouldn't they? Things like starvation, poverty, or cancer. Ah, right, so all wizards are selfish c***s. Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, Hazza claps back, right, and he's like, "You were seen walking out of that X-rated bookstore in Camden, carrying a copy of Big Nose Backdoor Beauties 5. Whoa, damn, Snape got roasted. Anyways, he's about to lose his shit when Dumbledore and McGonagall rock up. Dumbledore goes, "You can't expel them because you're not the head of Gryffindor, Severus Simp." And then McGonagall just totally lets them off the hook. Why does she do that? Well, because both Ronno and Hazza have plot armor. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So now it's the next day for some reason, and they're in herbology class with Professor Sprout. Who's Professor Sprout? She's this super chill old lady, right? And she likes talking about sex and radishes.
If it was good sex, then I would rather have sex. But if it was bad sex, I'd rather have a radish.
Sounds like a fun lady. Yeah, she is. Anyways, she shows them these plants called mandrakes. These things can scream so loud that they shatter glass, and one of them screams so loudly that it vibrates Neville's bowels and he shits himself so badly that his own head comes out of his arse. Jesus Christ. Next, they're all chin-wagging in the Great Hall and they're all munging down on some good old-fashioned grub when Ron's owl comes in and just smashes into a bowl of chips. Is his owl sick or something? Nah, see, like his owl has this massive drinking problem because his ex-wife divorced him and now she's trying to get custody of all 20 of his kids. Poor little guy. And he's been busted for flying and drinking about 20 times, so now he doesn't even have a license. Anyways, he drops off this thing called a howler, right? And it's not the way your mum howls when I come round to visit. What was that? It's like this magical piece of paper that hurls abuse at whoever it's delivered to. What did you say about my mum? Shut up. Anyways, this thing is giving Ron an absolute spraying, right? It's saying how he's got a limp penis and that he's got no pubes. And then this kid called Colin Creevy rocks up and he starts taking all these photos of Hazza. Why would he do that? Yeah, he's like a massive fan or something. He's got this shrine in his room where he's putting all these photos and there's pieces of Harry's hair and his skin and stuff like that. Ah, right, so he's going to be a serial killer when he grows up. Yeah, probably. Anyways, who cares? Next, they have Defense Against the Dark Arts, and you're never going to believe who their bloody teacher is. I mean, they haven't really introduced many new characters, so probably that guy from the bookstore at the start. Fuck off, that's right. Anyways, all the girls in the class think he's super hot or something because they're all leaking between the legs. And he starts banging on about how famous he is because he has this record deal with both Kanye and Drake. And those probably aren't two names you'd want to associate yourself with nowadays. Yeah, but remember, this is an old movie, so no one knew about the Nazi and pedo stuff yet. They do make good music. Anyways, he brings these pixies into the class, and they kind of look like the Smurfs if they were locked in a room with nothing but heroin and Red Bull for 42 years. They sound dangerous. Oh, they're super dangerous. Anyways, he lets them loose in the class with all the kids. What? Yeah, see, it turns out this guy's an absolute bellend and he has no idea what he's doing, and shit really starts getting out of hand when the pixies form two rival gangs like the Crips and the Bloods. And what does Lockhart do? Well, he legs it, doesn't he? Smart. Heh. Anyways, Hazza, Ronno and Hermo have to clean up the mess. And then next, Hazza's at Quidditch and he's talking to Wood. Who's Wood? Remember, he's the guy that's named after boners?
Harder
and longer.
So they're about to go do training, aren't they? But then they realise that Snape has allowed Slytherin to actually have the pitch to train their new Seeker. It turns out it's Malfoy. Oh shit, so they're going to be head to head. Yeah, that's right. And Malfoy's dad is like Elon Musk or something, and he's bought everyone in Slytherin these supercharged brooms and flamethrowers so that when Gryffindor plays them, they're going to be totally fucked. Seems unfair that parents can rig a children's sporting activity, but go on. Yeah, well get this, while Wood is cracking a hissy fit, Malfoy calls Hermo a mudblood, and everyone is super shocked. What is a mudblood? Well, we don't really know that yet, but Ron is fucking spewing, right? So he pulls out his wand and tries to curse Malfoy, but because his wand is still broken, the spell only bloody bounces back and hits him in the face, and he starts chundering up these big slugs. So they take him right to Madame Pomfrey in the hospital wing, right? No, mate, they take him to Hagrid, don't they? Why? Well, because the script said that was where they had to take him. That makes sense. Anyways, he tells them that the word mudblood is basically the N-word in the magical world, and that it's not okay for anyone to say it, even if they're at karaoke and singing rap music. I mean, that's fair enough, right? So next up, Hazard's in detention with Lockhart, right? And he's getting Hazard to sign all his fan mail and forge his signature, just like Mr. Beast does. Why? I'm not really sure. They don't really explain it, but they kind of just hope you'll roll with the punches like most of the bullshit in these films. But that's not the point, right? Hazard starts hearing this voice. And so he tells Lockhart, and Lockhart snatches the bong back and says, mate, you've had one puff too many. And then he lets him go back to his dorm. And on the way there, he sees Rono and Hermo. Where did they come from? It's unclear. It's either they were waiting in the hallway for hours just for him, or that the scriptwriter couldn't be bothered writing that part. Makes sense to me. Anyways, they see all these bloody spiders, don't they? And these spiders are kind of like goose stepping in a line, like they've been trained to or something. Wait, so they're like Nazi spiders? Maybe. Yeah, sure, why not? Anyways, they walk around the corner and Filch's bloody cat's been nailed to the wall, hasn't it? And in blood is written, "The Chamber of Secrets has been opened, you dogs." Ooh, that's the name of the movie. That's right. And they don't mean Filch's cat's Chamber of Secrets either, because underneath is written, "Enemies of the air, beware." And then for some reason, every kid at school rocks up in like 2 neat packs. That's very convenient. Yeah, it's almost like there were 2 stagehands off screen waiting for the director to wave them in when he told them to. Anyways, Filch rocks up and he sees his cat and he is spewing. So he says he's going to give Hazard a Colombian necktie, but just in time, Dumbledore and McGonagall rock up and they tell him to jog on and sit on a fat one. Lucky, kind of seems like they're just around the corner whenever Harry gets in trouble. Yeah, mate, I already told you this. Hazard has bloody plot armor, doesn't he? Nothing can touch him. True. Anyways, Dumbledore tells all the other kids to piss off and go back to bed, and Snape goes, "Maybe Mr. Potter and his friends were just in the wrong place at the wrong time." That's uncharacteristically nice of him. Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But then he goes, "Mr. Potter, you are the result of incest, and your mother gave me a wristy one night after school." What a cunt. Exactly, but then Dumbledore goes, "Hey mate, Filch, your cat isn't dead, you bloody plonker. It's just asleep." Oh, snap. Yeah, and then he says that these mandrakes, you know, the ones that made Neville shit his head out of his own ass, apparently they can be made into a potion that will save the cat. Just like that book. Very convenient that they were teaching them this year. Yeah, very convenient. Anyways, Dumbledore goes, "I strongly advise caution to all." Which is really weird because he's already told everyone to go back to bed, so there's literally no one in the corridor at that point. That is weird. Anyways, Haz is banging on to Hermo about this creepy voice he heard, and she tells him to shut the fuck up because apparently even in the wizarding world, it's really bad to be hearing voices. I don't know why they'd be scared of a boy who can hear voices in a castle filled with ghosts on the border of a haunted forest, but go on. Exactly. Anyways, the next day they're in Transfiguration with McGonagall, right? Which is really weird because they have all these really rare birds in the room that you could probably only get if you engaged in some sort of illegal poaching activity. And then she turns one of them into a glass with a spell. Oh, Jesus, does she turn it back? Nah, it's cold-blooded. Anyways, Rono has a crack too, so he tries to turn his pet rat into a glass, but he totally fucks it up because his wand is still cooked. And then McGonagall is like, "Mr. Weasley, your wand needs repairing, you povo c***. Go and get a new one." Seems a bit harsh. It's super harsh, right? And then she like spits right in his face and tells him he's trash because remember the movie hates poor people. And then Hermo asks her about the Chamber of Secrets. Ah, that's the name of the movie. Yeah, it is. Anyways, she spins this epic yarn about how Hogwarts was actually founded by these 4 mad dog wizards called Slytherin, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff. Also, there was a guy called Bruce, but no one talks about him. So that's where the house names come from. I always thought they were named after Pokemon or something like that. Yeah, I thought that too. Anyways, she said that Slytherin disagreed with the other guys, right, about who should be allowed to be taught at the school. Apparently, he didn't want any mudbloods there. So Slytherin was a racist, just like the Malfoys. Why did they name a house after him then? Yeah, look, that's super unclear, especially considering that all the murderers and sex pests seem to come from Slytherin. They should probably just get rid of the house entirely, right? Yeah, but remember, then Warner Brothers wouldn't have any money because there'd be no franchise and they'd be even more in debt. Anyway, she says that people have been searching for this Chamber of Secrets for like thousands of years, but she does say something very interesting though. What's that? That in the Chamber of Secrets lurks a big fucking monster, and only the true heir of Slytherin can bloody control it. That is interesting. Anyways, Ronno, Hazza and Hermo, they're all having a chinwag after class, and Hazza, he's convinced that Malfoy is the heir of Slytherin, right? Because he's always stroking his little wand over the thought of killing mudbloods. But Hermo, she's not convinced, right? She thinks they need more evidence, but she has this epic plan, right? She was reading this old school book while she was on the dunny taking a big poo, and she found this thing called polyjuice potion, right? It's a bit gross that she takes school books into the toilets with her, isn't it? I mean, half the people that are watching this are probably on the toilet right now, so what's the difference? Good point. Go on. She reckons that this potion can change them into looking like Malfoy's two dropkick mates, Crabbe and Goyle, and then they can trick Malfoy into telling him whether he's the heir of Slytherin or not. That's a good plan. Right? Anyway, she says the catch is this potion takes about 6 months to brew. Good thing the movie jumps around in time so much. That's going to go past in minutes. Case in point, now they're playing Quidditch. Snap, the big game. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, Haz is flying around, he's doing his thing, and then this rogue bludger, right, starts chasing after him, and it calls him a specky twat and says it wants to kill him. What is a bludger? They're like these really big iron balls that the players all hit through these tiny holes with wooden bats trying to score points. Wait, they hit iron balls with wooden bats? That's going to do fuck all, other than break the bats. I know, right? And what's the point in all that if Harry can just catch the golden snitch and win the game anyways? Mate, you don't need to tell me that everyone else at this school acts like an NPC and this game makes no bloody sense. Anyways, Hazard's dodging this bloody bludger, right? And he only sees the golden snitch, doesn't he? Of course he does. And then Malfoy only spots it, doesn't he? So Hazard and Malfoy are flying after the snitch while the bloody bludger is flying around behind Hazza, smashing through all these support beams. Jesus Christ, do the bleachers fall down? Nah, mate, why would that happen? What the hell's the point in all those support beams then? No idea. Anyways, Hazza punches Malfoy right in the dick and he falls off his broom, but then the bludger breaks his bloody arm, doesn't it? Fuck, that'd hurt. But Hazza, he's a total mad dog, right? And he still manages to catch the snitch, even with a broken arm. Is he gonna win every game he plays? Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, he's lying on the ground and that bludger comes back and it's trying to crush his skull, right? And then everyone gets worried about him now for some reason. So then Hermo runs up and she kicks it right in the gooch and it explodes. Wasn't the bleachers filled with teachers? Why did it take a second year student to come in and help him? No idea. Anyways, Lockhart runs up and he tries to show off to all the other students by saying he can fix Hazard's arm, which Hazard's super sus about. And then he makes a total dog's breakfast of the spell, right? And just removes all of Hazard's bones completely. So then he has to spend all night in the hospital wing growing back his bloody bones. He seems to be in there a lot. He should probably have his own bed in there by now. So then Hazard wakes up that night and he hears that creepy fucking voice again, doesn't he? And who's sitting right next to his bed? It's only bloody Dobby, isn't it? Oh, he's back. I love that little guy. He kind of reminds me of that weird gobbledock thing they used to advertise Smith's chips with. Smith's crisps. Yeah, that thing was fucked. Why would that make me want to buy chips? Anyways, he tells Hazard that he was the one who actually closed the gate at the station and he sent the rogue bludger after him. What a c***, right? Anyways, he insists that he's doing it for his own good because he wants Hazard to go home and stay away from Hogwarts so that he doesn't get hurt. That's like giving someone cancer in order to stop them getting the flu. That makes no fucking sense. He totally fucks up, right? Because he says that history is repeating itself because of the Chamber of Secrets being opened again. And then when Hazard presses him about it, he just totally flips out and starts hitting his head on stuff like a junkie. Why? Well, apparently house elves can't rat out their masters, right? So if they even think about it, they've got to start smacking themselves. That's brutal. Why is self-mutilation part of a kid's book? No idea. Anyways, just as Dobby disappears, right, Dumbledore, McGonagall and Pomfrey carry in this body and apparently a student has been petrified, just like Filch the cat bummer's cat. Oh no, who is it? It's only that bloody creeper Colin Creevy, isn't it? Oh, well now I feel bad for him, don't I? Yeah, so instead of going to Dumbledore's office and having the conversation in private like responsible teachers, they just stand in the middle of the hospital wing and Dumbledore says, well, the Chamber of Secrets is only bloody open again, isn't it? Oh, that's the name of the movie. Can you stop doing that? Sorry, that was one too many. Anyways, the next day, Hazza and Ronno are watching Hermo brew the polyjuice potion in the girls' dunnies. Wait, why are they doing this in the dunnies? Well, because of the ghost of Moaning Myrtle, right? No one goes in there. I see. Anyways, she dives into the shitter, right? And Ron gets toilet water right in his mouth. Gross. Right? And Hermione had just taken a big piss in there as well, and she'd eaten lots of vitamins, so it was super yellow. Anyways, Ron thinks it must have been Malfoy's dad that opened the Chamber of Secrets all those years ago. And Hermo still insists that they need the potion to make Malfoy prove it. She seems weirdly insistent on proving Malfoy's innocence, doesn't she? Yeah, I thought maybe she was angling for him to be like a sugar daddy or something like that, but it turns out she totally hates the That's fair. So the next day, they're in the Great Hall, which has been turned into this giant dueling platform, right? And Big Nose Snape and Lockhart, they're going to show the kids how to fight each other. They're going to show the students how to actively hurt each other. Yeah, pretty much. And it's not bullying or anything because the teachers say it's totally fine. Anyways, Hazza gets paired up with Malfoy, doesn't he? And he's like, "Scared, Potter?" And Harry's like, "You wish, you micro-penised twat." And then Malfoy does this super sick spell where he casts this giant snake out the end of his wand. Jesus, that's a powerful spell. Is it ever used again? Nah, mate. But anyways, Hazza thinks there must be acid in the drinking water or something because he starts having a full-on conversation with the snake, right? And then the snake is like, "Oh, thank God, no one bloody talks around here. I'm glad I have someone to yak to." But then Hazza and the snake become such good mates that he invites him back to the dorms for a few cold ones. What a nice snake. But then Snape loses it, right? And he shoots the snake in the left testicle and the snake just explodes. What a bastard. Anyways, everyone in the crowd is freaking out and they're all looking at Hazza like he's just turned into a school shooter or something. And then one of the kids in the crowd says that Hazza made the snake piss right in his face. What? Why is that? Well, that's the thing, right? They bail him up after class and they're like, "Hazza, mate, the snake wasn't speaking English. You were speaking like a bloody snake, you pelican." What? Yeah, and get this right, apparently he's a parcel tongue. Oh my God. What the fuck's a parcel tongue? No idea. Apparently they can speak to snakes or something like that. And Hermo thinks that only the direct descendant of Slytherin could actually do that. So Hazza is related to that old school racist who founded the school. Well, we don't really know that, right? But everyone in the library starts looking at Hazza. They only bloody think he's the geezer that opened up the Chamber of Secrets, don't they? They do? Yeah, they do. And even Ginny, who we all know wants to show Harry how to really use his wand, she looks at him like he's sus too. Damn, old H-Dog is having a shit one today, isn't he? Too right. So he storms off out of the library, and when he's on his way back to the dorms, he only hears that bloody voice again, doesn't he? Uh-oh. Then you're not going to believe this, right? He finds two more victims. The ghost of nearly headless Nick and that kid from class who said he made the snake piss on his face. That sucks. Now people are going to be even more suspicious of Hazza. That's right. And then Filch rocks up, doesn't he? And he's like, "Oh, you are in trouble now, aren't you? Oh, I'm going to have you. I can't bum me cat anymore because of you." And then Hazza tries to stop him and tell him that it wasn't him, but Filch has already legged it, right? He's going to tell Dumbledore. And then get this, he looks down and there's only bloody more spiders, isn't there? Shit. So the spiders are petrifying everyone. What? No, don't be a dickhead. I was just having a guess. Well, you're fucking way off, mate. Settle down and let me tell the story. Okay, Jesus, go on. So anyways, then McGonagall rocks up because apparently she's one of only like 3 teachers at this school, and she takes Hazza to the bloody principal's office, doesn't she? And she yells out the password, "Sherbet Lemon." Then Hazza goes up this sick spiral staircase with a griffin on it. Wait, she just says the secret password right in front of a student. I thought she was supposed to be one of the smart teachers. Yeah, it's a fucking bonehead move. Now everyone in the school will know. Anyways, Hazza goes into Dumbledore's office, and he's not even bloody there, is he? But he sees that creepy old talking hat, right? And he bails him up and he's like, "Are you sure you put me in the wrong house, you little c***?" And the hat goes, "You'd have made a good Slytherin, you little bastard. Stop asking me." And then Hazza goes, "No, you're wrong. And if you tell anyone that, I'll stab you." Jesus, Hazza is losing it, isn't he? And then he sees this red bird and he goes to pat it and it only bursts into bloody flames, doesn't it? What? Yeah, and Hazza thinks he's fucked because then Dumbledore shows up and Hazza's like, "No, I didn't bloody touch your bird, mate. You can check the CCTV cameras." And Dumbledore goes, "Pull your head in, mate. It's a bloody phoenix, isn't it?" What is a phoenix? Well, apparently it's like this bird, right, that bursts into flames to die and then it rises again from the ashes. But apparently phoenix jizz can heal any wound. Gross. I bet that will come in handy later though. Well, you'd be right about that one. Otherwise they wouldn't spend so long explaining it, would they? Anyways, old man Hagrid bursts in and he's like, "Harry's bloody innocent, isn't he?" And then Dumbledore goes, "Shut the hell up, mate. I already know that. Go suck on a greasy fat one." How does he know that? No idea. Dumbledore sort of always acts super sus. Anyways, he squints at Hazza and he goes, "Are you sure there's something you don't want to tell me?" Well, that's a bit sus. What does he know? I hope he isn't just raising Hazza for slaughter so that Voldemort can kill him in 6 years. No, he wouldn't do that, mate. Anyways, it's Christmas now, and Ronno, Hazza and Hermo, they're all having a chinwag in the main hall, and then Hermo tells Ron and Hazza that she's drugged these 2 muffins, right, and that they need to give them to Crabbe and Goyle because they need to get some of their hairs to make the polyjuice potion. Hang on, so Hermione just openly talks about drugging muffins in front of everyone in the school hall? Yeah, mate, she's a full-blown psycho. She says after Crabbe and Goyle pass out, they have to strip them naked and then hide their bodies in a broom closet. Fucking hell. I know, full maniac. Anyways, Hazza and Ron managed to trick Crabbe and Goyle like they're characters from an old Scooby-Doo cartoon because they float the muffins in the hallway and then they just eat them. So they just find 2 floating muffins and their first instinct is to eat them. Yeah, I think JK thinks that food is all that fat people think about. It's a bit out of pocket, really. Anyways, now that they've got all the ingredients they need, Hermo is able to complete the polyjuice potion. So they all have a drink and the stuff looks super sus, right? And then Ron throws up because his tastes like that sweat you find between someone's sweaty ass crack. Gross. And then Hazza has this really freaky transformation sequence where he transforms into Crabbe. Or maybe it's Goyle, I have no fucking idea which one is which. But then Ron and Hazza start speaking to each other, but for some reason they still have the exact same voices. So this spell is powerful enough to change someone's genetic makeup to completely make them look like someone else, but it's not powerful enough to make their vocal cords any different. Yeah, it's total bullshit. So what happens to Hermione? Who does she change into? Well, that's just it, right? She doesn't come out of the cubicle. She says she's got explosive diarrhea and she's just shit all over her shoes. So Hazza and Ronno have to go and find Malfoy, but apparently they've only got an hour because that's how long the potion works for. It takes months to brew and only works for an hour. Yeah, mate, this spell is more broken than Cyberpunk was on release. Anyways, they're walking around trying to find Malfoy and he just shows up, doesn't he? Oh shit, he's going to be suspicious that they're acting and talking exactly like Ron and Harry, isn't he? Nah, because that would have made more sense, wouldn't it? Anyways, he starts rambling about the Chamber of Secrets and he says that his dad told him that some geezer opened it 50 years ago and a mudblood got killed and then some other geezer got expelled for it. That's a bit convenient that the one conversation they have with him is just about the crucial thing that they want to know about. Yeah, that's right. Anyways, turns out old mate Malfoy, he isn't the heir of Slytherin. And just as he tells them that, their hair starts changing colours like the spell is running out. Oh shit. I mean, that's also a bit convenient, but oh shit. So they bloody leg it back to the bathrooms, right? And Malfoy doesn't notice that their hair has changed or that they're running away? Nah, because that wasn't actually written in the script. Ah, yep, fair enough. Anyways, they finally get back to the Dunnies and Moaning Myrtle's having this massive whinge because some rando threw a book at her. She's a ghost though. Wouldn't it go right through her? That's exactly what Ron says, but then Myrtle gets so mad at him, right, that she pulls his undies right over his head until they snap and it tears his asshole right in half. Ouch. I've had one of those. Anyways, Hazza picks up this book, right, even though it's been laying right in toilet water and it's probably soaking in piss, so he takes it back to the dorms and he has a look at it and there's nothing written in it, is there? But then he accidentally drops ink on it and it only bloody disappears, doesn't it? It disappears. What the fuck? So he writes into the book, "My name is Harry Potter," and has Harry forgotten his own name? What? No. I mean, it's a weird first thing to write into a book, isn't it? Yeah, I think maybe he's having an aneurysm or something. He doesn't really seem to know what's going on. Ah, yeah, fair enough. Anyways, the book starts writing back, doesn't it? It does? Yeah, of course it does, because why the fuck not? Anyways, the book says, "Hello, Harry Potter. My name is Tom Riddle, and this is my diary." Hang on, I thought the Riddler was a Batman villain. No, mate, not the Riddler. Tom Riddle. Oh, okay, my mistake. Anyways, then Hazza asks the book if it can tell him about the Chamber of Secrets, and the book's like, "Nah, mate, fuck off. I'll only bloody show you, won't I?" And then the book sucks him in and takes him 50 years into the past. Wait, what? Listen, the logic in this section gets a little bit spotty, so just bear with me. Fair enough, go on. So Hazza sees Tom Riddle in the past, doesn't he? And everything's kind of black and white except for Harry. So was everything black and white 50 years ago? Nah, I think it's like some sort of weird stylistic choice. Anyway, Hazza sees Tom, and Tom sees a body being carried away in a stretcher, just like Hazza did. And who's bloody watching? Only a young bloody Dumbledore, isn't he? And Dumbledore's like, "Tom, you shouldn't be out of your bed late at night, you little wanker." And then Tom says to Dumbledore that he's worried that because someone has died, that they might close down Hogwarts. Oh, poor Tom. Kind of feel sorry for him. Anyways, Dumbledore's looking at Tom like he's going to grow up to be Ted Bundy or something. And then Tom says, "Well, what if I could find who opened the Chamber of Secrets? Would that stop them from closing Hogwarts, you incontinent old bastard?" Does Tom know who opened the Chamber of Secrets? Well, we don't know that yet, do we, mate? But then Tom storms off and Hazza follows him, right? Wait, so no one can see Harry? What the fuck? Nah, mate, it's like some VR memory that Harry can interact with, like he's wearing a Meta Quest 2 or something like that. It's best not to question it. Okie dokie. So Tom goes into this locked door and you'll never bloody guess who he sees, right? Hagrid. Fuck. Will you stop doing that? Sorry, go on. So anyways, Tom's grilling young Hagrid, isn't he? And he says, I can't let it kill again, can I, Hagrid? Let what kill? Well, get this. Tom shoots this wooden box with his wand, and Hagrid's only hiding this big bloody spider, isn't he? Oh shit, there were spiders at each of the crime scenes, weren't there? Hagrid is a real bloody menace, isn't he? Too right. Anyways, Tom tries to kill it, but it gets away. And then he turns to Hagrid and he goes, you're gonna get arrested for this, you bloody drongo, and they're gonna take your wand away. So that's why he was banned from practicing magic. That's a fucking callback to the first film. That's actually good writing. Yeah, sometimes JK knows what she's bloody doing, doesn't she? Anyways, then Hazza gets ripped back to the modern day like he's an OnlyFans model getting his butthole waxed. Yucky. Then Hazza bursts out of the book and into the modern day, and he legs it to try and find Hermo and Ronno. But it's a bit weird because no one really seems to notice that Hazza has disappeared into a book for the last few hours. Yeah, that is weird. What if someone closed the book or burnt it while he was in there? I don't know. I guess that would have been the end of the franchise or something. Anyways, Hazza is telling Ronno and Hermo about how Hagrid and his pet spider killed a kid over 50 years ago, and Hermo is like, but Harry, it can't be Hagrid. And then Hazza goes, shut the fuck up, Hermione, you know-it-all bitch. I might have been sniffing glue all night, but I know what I'm bloody talking about. But right as they're arguing, right, Hagrid rocks up, doesn't he? Uh-oh. What does he say? Well, not much really, but he does say that he's helping grow those mandrakes so that he can help the students who have been petrified be brought back to life. Oh, why would he do that if he's the one that's offing the students? Yeah, exactly. And he says to Hazza and Ron, I'm also growing a big patch of chuff in me little cabbage patch. Why don't you guys come round after class and we'll smoke a few cones? Nice. But just as Hagrid's rolling this super fat spliff, right, Neville runs up and he looks like he's just seen McGonagall naked because he is scared shitless. Anyways, he takes him back to Hazza's room, which has been given a once-over. It looks like a bunch of junkies went there looking for their next hit, so whoever's behind this has their sights set on Hazza now. That's right, and it only gets worse from there because Hazza and Wood, they're heading for their next Quidditch game, and who? You know, Wood, the boner kid. Keep forgetting him. Anyways, it turns out the game is cancelled, right? So Wood goes floppy and cracks a hissy fit, and then McGonagall goes to Hazza, Mr. Weasley, Mr. Potter, come with me, you need to see this. Oh shit, is she gonna strip naked? Nah mate, it turns out that Hermo, she's been petrified now too. Oh no, not Hermo. And Ronno and Hazza, they're gutted. Turns out Hermo was found in the library, stiffer than an old man on Viagra, but she was holding this really small mirror. Why were Ron and Harry the first two people she called? What about her parents? Parents? Fuck off, that wouldn't serve the narrative. I guess not. Anyways, McGonagall tells the students that there's now a 6 p.m. curfew in place, and that students aren't even allowed to go for a shit without a teacher watching. That seems a bit weird, so the teachers would actually watch them take a shit. Yeah, it gets really weird. There's this one scene where Ronno, he's squeezing out this huge log, and McGonagall's like, Mr. Weasley, you need to eat some more fibre. Come on now, push. I've had that problem too. Too much bread. Yeah, me too. Anyways, McGonagall says that if they don't catch the person who's behind these attacks, that the school is going to be closed up faster than a Mormon's pussy before marriage. That sucks. So then Hazza says, we've got to go and talk to Hagrid now. And Ronno's like, how the hell are we going to do that, you specky twat? And then Hazza, he pulls out his invisibility cloak, doesn't he? Right, I forgot he had that. Why didn't he use that to spy on Malfoy rather than brewing polyjuice potion for 6 months? Because shut the fuck up, that's why. Fair enough. Anyways, they sneak out to Hagrid's hut and he's waiting by the door, right, with a crossbow, which is super sus and a bit weird because it's a bit pointless to have one of those in a world filled with magic and guns. Anyways, they ask him about the Chamber of Secrets and he's about to tell them who opened it when there's a knock at the door. Damn, now I've got blue balls. I want to know. It's only bloody Dumbledore, isn't it? And he's got this other geezer with him called Fudge Packer. He's apparently the head of the Ministry of Sound, you know, the place where Ronno's dad works. And apparently he wants to take Hagrid to Azkaban. And shit takes a real turn when Malfoy's dad rocks up. What? Yeah, and Malfoy's dad, right? He hands Dumbledore this scroll and he says him and the other governors have voted for Dumbledore to step down as headmaster of Hogwarts. Damn, that sucks. I mean, it's fair enough though, because last year Quirrell did manage to sneak Voldemort into the school, and this year kids are dying because of the Chamber of Secrets. Look, you're not going to hear any arguments from me. He's a terrible headmaster. But Hazza and Ronno, they are gutted, right? And right before Dumbledore leaves, he kind of looks to Ron and Hazza right underneath the cloak and he goes,
help will always be given to those at Hogwarts who ask for it. Also, stop hacking into the Wi-Fi, you little cunts.
And then he leaves. And what the hell does he mean by that? No idea. So Hagrid, he's escorted out to Azkaban, right? But just before he leaves, he turns and talks to Hazza and Ron underneath the cloak as well. And he's like, if anyone wants to know what's going on, all they need do is follow the spiders and feed me bloody dog, you cunts. And then Fudge looks at him, super confused, and it's really weird because he's the head of the Ministry of Sound, but he still doesn't seem to be cluey enough to know that both Hagrid and Dumbledore were talking to two kids under an invisibility cloak. Follow the spiders. Oh, that's right, the spiders are all goose-stepping in lines and walking out of the castle. Yeah, that's right, and you'll never guess where they're bloody headed. The Forbidden Forest. Oh, you mean the forest with all the monsters and the dangerous creatures? That's probably the first place I'd look, to be honest. Yeah, well anyways, they take Hagrid's dog Fang and they follow the spiders into the forest. And Ron, he's packing his pants with Fudge the whole way because he's scared of spiders. And then they walk into this giant tunnel filled with spider webs. They walk right into a spider's nest. So these kids are more clueless than Frodo is in Return of the King. Yeah, they're massive pelicans. Anyways, they get to the spider's nest and this big voice is like,
"Do you want, you little cunts? Where's Hagrid?"
And then Hazard tells the voice that Hagrid's been arrested, and just as he says that, a spider, bigger than a fucking school bus, comes over the hill. I mean, that's pretty small by Australian standards, but the spider can talk? What the fuck? Yeah, apparently his name is Aragog, and he's the spider that escaped from Tom Riddle over 50 years ago. He also says that the monster in the Chamber of Secrets is so jacked up that even spiders are fucking scared of it. And right as he says that, all these other spiders surround Ronno and Hazard. I mean, we probably all predicted that was going to happen, but oh shit. Yeah, mate, the bloody pelicans. Anyways, he says that he's going to let his babies eat them now, which makes no sense because why would he explain all that about the Chamber of Secrets if his plan was just to eat them all along? Why not just do that straight away? Yeah, you're right. Why would he waste his time? So just as it looks like Hazard and Ron are about to be turned into a Big Mac meal for spiders, the bloody flying car only comes back, doesn't it? It does. Why would it do that? No idea. Anyways, apparently the car has forgiven them for getting it beaten up by a tree who was juiced up on steroids, so they both jump in the car and drive out of the forest. Shit, that was lucky. Almost way too convenient, right? Anyways, for some reason the car only parks a few meters away from the spiders, which means they catch up like immediately. And Hazard goes, "Ron, drive the car, you ginger pube twat!" And Ron's freaking out, right, because he can't drive a car for shit. And wait, I thought the car could drive itself. Why are they driving it? No clue. Anyways, they finally get out of the forest. Ron is fuming. He says he's going to kick Hagrid right in the scrotum for making him follow those spiders. I mean, that's fair enough. Probably deserves way worse, really. Anyways, we cut to Hazard and Ron by Hermione's bed, and Hazard's like creepily stroking Hermione's hand. And just as Ronno's about to ask Hazard why he's got his cock out, Hazard finds a note in Hermione's hand. Oh, what's on the paper? It's only a bloody page from a library book with all the crucial information they need, right? Apparently Hermione had found out that the monster in the Chamber of Secrets was actually a fucking basilisk. And a basilisk is like a big motherfucking snake. And then Hazard's like, "That's why I'm the only one who can understand it." Because he can talk to snakes. Exactly. Whoa, that was set up in the first film too. She's cooking with bloody gas right now, that JK. Right, and Hazard reckons that the only reason no one's been killed by the basilisk is because they've all seen it in just the reflection. Filch's cat saw it in the reflection of the water, Colin Creevy saw it through his camera, and Hermione saw it in the little mirror. Oh, snap. Things are getting very interesting. You're telling me. Anyways, Hazard is on fire because he's just popped a pinger or something, and he starts spitting mad facts. He says that spiders are scared of snakes and that the basilisk must have been getting around in the school plumbing system. I mean, I'm not really sure spiders are scared of snakes, but go on. Get this though. Hazard goes, "You know that girl that died in the bathroom over 50 years ago? What if she never bloody left?" Ah, Moaning Myrtle. That's right, and Hazard thinks that the only reason she's still hanging around is that she's mooching off the welfare system because she can't be fucked working in the afterlife. Makes sense. Anyways, just when it looks like Hazard and Ronno are about to crack the case, McGonagall comes over the PA system and she's like,
"Students must go back to their fucking rooms. Also, the teachers must meet me in the second floor corridor."
Oh no, the monster's got someone else, doesn't it? You bloody know it, mate. And apparently the monster has taken a girl into the Chamber of Secrets this time. Who? It's only Ron's bloody sister Ginny, isn't it? Damn it, that's the girl who's been having a fap over Hazard, isn't it? Yeah, that's the one. Why does there only seem to be like 5 kids that anything actually happens to at this school? No idea. Anyways, all the teachers are shitting their pants thinking that the school's about to be closed down, and McGonagall, she finally calls Lockhart on all his shit because he's always going on about how he can fight any monster and he's got a really big penis and he has really sick karate skills. So he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it, no dramas, just let me go to my office." And it turns out he's just packing his bags, he's about to leg it. Ah, so he's actually a total pussy. Yeah, and a really smelly one too. Anyways, Hazard and Ron burst into his office and they tell him that they've got really crucial information about the Chamber of Secrets. But he doesn't care because he's just called an Uber, and then he tells them that all of the stories in his book are actually fake and that he stole the stories and wiped the original people's memories. Oh fuck, so it's just like that book Donald Trump wrote about business. That's right, and then he threatens to wipe their memories too. But Hazza and Ron drag him to the girls' bathrooms, and moaning Myrtle, she tells him how she died, right? Why did they take him? Surely it would have been easier just to tie him up or cast a spell on him or something. Yeah, I think JK just couldn't be fucked figuring out what to actually do with him, so she just had him tag along. Makes sense to me. Anyways, moaning Myrtle tells him that when she died, she was taking the biggest dump of her life, right? And she was just about to split her ring in half when someone comes in the dunny, and she was like, "Who's there?" And then she died. Well, that seems a bit anticlimactic. Yeah, it is, big time. Anyway, she said right before she died, she saw a pair of yellow eyes right by the basin. And then Hazza looks over there, and it's only the bloody entrance to the Chamber of Secrets, isn't it? Wait, so no one's found the Chamber of Secrets in thousands of years, and Harry and Ron just happen to be the two that figure it out. Yeah, mate, it's total dog's balls. Anyways, Hazza and Ron push Lockhart down first because the tunnel looks crazy deep. It looks like he'd probably die, but then he says he's totally fine, so they jump in after him. What's at the bottom of the tunnel? They find heaps of bones and a giant snake-sized condom. Apparently the basilisk gets so turned on after it kills a student, it has to go and have a bloody shag, doesn't it? Ooh, gross. And then Lockhart, he pretends to faint, and when he does, he grabs Ron's bloody wand. That tricky little bugger. And then he's going to wipe their memories, right? And he's going to say that he was too late to save Ginny, and he's going to claim that he was the one that found the bloody Chamber of Secrets. This guy goes from harmless to diabolical really quick, doesn't he? Yeah, but the spell only bloody backfires, doesn't it? Because Ron's wand is still cooked, and it collapses the whole bloody tunnel. How does a memory charm collapse an entire tunnel? It's super unclear. Anyways, it turns out Hazza and Ronno are now split up, which means Hazza is going to take on the basilisk all by himself. Didn't this happen in the first movie? Why is it always down to just Harry? Because his name is on the bloody poster. I guess that makes sense. Anyways, Hazza finds the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets, and he speaks Parseltongue to open the door. I thought they already found the entrance. Yeah, this is apparently the second entrance to the Chamber of Secrets. And how the hell is the snake getting through all these doors? I have absolutely no idea. Anyways, Hazza finds Ginny, and turns out she hasn't been eaten by the snake or anything, but she has been knocked out cold. Wait, so a giant snake managed to put her in its mouth without biting her, slither down the plumbing and into the Chamber of Secrets, get past all of the doors, and then it just leaves her there. Yeah, look, logic is about to completely go out the fucking window, so get ready. All right, go on. Anyways, Hazza's trying to wake up Ginny, isn't he? And then Tom Riddle rocks up, and he looks exactly like he did 50 years ago. What? Well, because he's a memory that's been trapped in the diary Harry found for over 50 years, isn't he? He is? Yeah, well, anyways, he takes Hazza's wand, and how is he able to interact with the physical world if he's just a memory? Fucked if I know. Anyways, he says that he's been controlling Ginny through the diary, and now that diary is sucking Ginny's energy, and it's given it to him so that he can become a real boy, just like Pinocchio or some bullshit. Okay, I'm completely lost. Me too. Anyways, he tells Hazza that Ginny actually tried to get rid of the diary, didn't she? She threw it away in the dunnies, which is when Hazza found it. And he also says that he was the one that framed Hagrid 50 years ago because he couldn't be fucked going to jail himself. What a bastard. Also, why do all the villains in these books have to have a monologue where they explain how clever their evil plan was? No idea, but get this, he spells out his name, Tom Riddle, in the sky, and then rearranges the letters to say, "I am Lord Voldemort." Seems pointless. Why didn't he just tell him? I guess he wanted to show how clever he was or something. I don't know. Turns out he's the heir of Slytherin, isn't he? I mean, that's obvious at this point. We know only the heir of Slytherin can open the Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, we do. I guess he had to say it for dramatic effect or something like that. Anyways, while Tom's banging on, Dumbledore's bird flies down and gives Hazza the old sorting hat, doesn't it? Okay, sure, why not? I think Dumbledore sends it or something. It's pretty unclear. Anyways, then Tom finally summons the basilisk, and it slides out of this giant mouth in the wall, which is like weirdly sexual. And then he says, "Good luck fighting a giant snake with a bloody old hat, you piece of shit." And then the snake comes at Hazza, right, flailing around like it's on fentanyl or something. But Dumbledore's bird swoops down and pecks its fucking eyes out. Seems unlikely due to their size difference, but go on. And Tom is super pissed, right? And he goes, "Well, it can still bloody hear you, can't it, you wanker?" And rather than standing still and staying quiet, Hazza just runs through this water, making a really loud splashing sound. What a bloody turkey, right? Anyways, Hazza gets away, and then he finds the sorting hat, and it's only got the bloody sword of Godric Gryffindor in it, doesn't it? Why did it have to be hidden in a hat? Why couldn't he just send him the sword? Because he's a bloody chuffhead. I'd have sent him a flamethrower or a machine gun or something like that. Anyways, Hazza manages to kill the giant snake with this really tiny sword for some reason, but just as he kills him, the snake fucking bites him. So he's won, but he is slowly dying of the venom. Oh no. know. How are there going to be 6 more movies if he dies? Well, he obviously doesn't, does he? Anyways, Tom's gloating because he thinks it's game over for Hazza, and then Hazza goes full ghetto and he pulls the snake's tooth out of his arm and stabs the fucking diary with it. I would have just stabbed him with the sword. That would have made more sense. True. Anyways, Voldemort, or Tom Riddle, or whatever you want to bloody call him, he dies. He turns into a beam of light or some shit, and Ginny conveniently wakes up. So the giant snake battle didn't wake her up? Nah, apparently she's a really solid sleeper. She's got like earplugs and an eye mask and everything. Anyways, Hazza's sweating real hard and he looks like he's about to die when Dumbledore's bird flies down and jizzes right on his arm. Oh, that's right. Phoenix jizz can heal anything. Dumbledore said that earlier in the film, didn't he? It's like Chekhov's penis or something like that. Yeah, anyways, next up, Ron and Hazza are in Dumbledore's office and it looks like he's going to expel him just like at the start of the movie, but then he pulls a Tony Hawk 180 and only gives him a bloody billion points for Gryffindor. Bloody hell, is he going to do this at the end of every movie? Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, he's yammering on about how Hazza must have shown him true loyalty down in the chamber because otherwise the Phoenix wouldn't have actually come to him. Wait, so he didn't send the Phoenix? Yeah, he did, but apparently he told the bird only to go to Hazza's aid if he showed him true loyalty down in the Chamber of Secrets, which doesn't really make any sense. Dumbledore's plans are pretty cooked because he smokes cones all day. Ah, yeah, that's right. So then afterward, Hazza bails him up and he's like, why are there so many similarities between me and Tom Riddle? You know, I can speak parcel tongue, I was almost put in Slytherin, my wand's got the same phoenix feather in it. That is a lot of similarities. What does Dumbledore say to that? He tells him to fuck right off. Really? No, I'm just kidding. Apparently when he tried to kill Harry, he accidentally transferred a part of him and his powers inside of Hazza. Jesus Christ, Hazza has a bit of Voldemort inside him and his mum put love in his skin. Does he even have any room left for organs? Probably not. Anyways, Malfoy's dad bursts in and he's pissed off because Dumbledore's back as headmaster of Hogwarts and bloody Dobby's only with him, isn't he? I almost forgot about Dobby. This is a long bloody movie, isn't it? Well, they only get bloody longer, mate. Anyways, Dobby's trying to warn Hazza about something. He keeps pointing at the diary, but then Lucius, he kicks him right in the sphincter and Dobby flies across the room like a bloody footy. What a bastard. So anyways, Hazza, he chases after Lucius and he gives him the old destroyed diary and he says, you put this in Ginny's bucket at the start of the movie, didn't you, you blonde-pubed twat? Got him. And then Lucius is like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
And then he goes to turn away and gives Dobby the book, but Dobby, he doesn't go with him, right? He doesn't. Well, Dobby finds Hazza's sock inside the diary, right? And apparently if a house elf is given a piece of clothing by their owner, it sets them free, just like the genie at the end of Aladdin. Or what if they accidentally asked them to hang up their clothes or put away their socks? Would that free them? Yeah, good point, maybe. Anyways, Lucius, he's super pissed, right? Because he's just lost his best slave. So he pulls out his wand and he uses the killing curse to try and get Hazza in front of all the teachers and kids. I thought he was trying to hide the fact that he was a bad guy. Yeah, I guess he thought at this point, fuck it, why not? Anyways, Dobby uses this super sick Kamehameha move and it blasts Lucius onto his ass and he looks like a bloody pelican. Nice. Anyways, he storms off and he's like, you're gonna come to the same sticky end as your parents, which is a really sexual way of putting it for some reason. And then Hazza turns to Dobby and he's like, never try to save me again, you weird looking gremlin fucking thing. And then they both smile at each other. Feels like things are wrapping up. Yeah. Not yet, mate. Hold your horses. So they're all eating in the hall and then Hermione comes in, who's apparently been healed by the mandrakes or some shit like that. And then Dumbledore gives this huge speech and he says,
all exams have been cancelled.
I mean, what's the point in exams? No one at this school seems to do any fucking work. Yeah, and then Hagrid walks in and he thanks Ron, Hazza and Hermione for clearing his name. And then Hazza goes, there's no Hogwarts without you, Hagrid. Which is really weird because we all know that Hogwarts existed for thousands of years before Hagrid. Also, Hagrid did smuggle a flesh-eating spider and a dragon into the school. Sounds like he should still be in jail, really. Right? Anyways, everyone starts clapping like maniacs for some reason. Why are they all clapping? I don't even think they know, to be honest with you. And then there's all these close-up shots of people who look like they're about to cry for some reason. It's just a really unsettling and creepy way to end the movie. Yeah, that's fucked up. Oh yeah, and then Hazza, he turns to camera and he goes, remember to subscribe for more videos, you bloody bastards.